Okay, we got a lot to do tonight, and it's 7 o'clock, so we will call the meeting to order. And Mayor Bridges, would you lead us in the pledge to the flag?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before you sit down, we have a time crunch going on, and we would like to present Mr. Bob's plaque so that Mr. Bridges can go to his other assignments. And be sure and come back down, and we will finish our meeting and our program and our food. So just make your way up to the...
I apologize, but I appreciate y'all.
There's an elevator or the stairs. And we'll all meet up there and present Mr. Bob's plaque. We may recognize our members, our visitors, and family here tonight. If you want to join the Historical Society, it's $10 per year per household, or $50 will get you a lifetime membership. Miss Betty's in charge of that, and they will start January 2020. The minutes. Did everybody, all the members, receive the minutes? Any discussion, corrections? Is there a motion for that to be approved? I make a motion.
Second.
Second, Lynn, seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the treasurer's report, Miss Betty?
The balance in our account at the last meeting of October the 8th was, in our checking account, was $3,179.65. We had income of $222.60. Our expenses were $275. The income was books, dues, pictures, and we had $150 in donations. And the expenses were, the $275 was for the TVA archives picture. And leaves a balance in our account of $3,127.25. Our CD his balance is $11,105.33.
Okay, is there any discussion or corrections,
I'm just
additions,
glad
or
I didn't
anything?
bankrupt us.
Right?
I'm just glad I didn't bankrupt us.
You did bankrupt us,
I
okay.
didn't. I mean, there's still money in there.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Move we approve the report.
Okay, Lynn? Second?
Second.
Jerry? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Old business. The 150th year celebration agenda. We met right before this meeting, and we have some of our months already assigned and taken care of. And if you have anyone that you know of that would like to have a program in 2021, that's our sesquicentennial celebration. We also worked on the 2020 calendar. We have a couple of openings in 2020 for presenters, July 14th, August the 11th, and October the 13th. And we'll try to get that program in the minutes for you so you'll know who's presenting. The next meeting is our December meeting. We will be meeting at City Hall at 6 o'clock. We'll get turkey and dressing from Cleggern's and rolls and gravy, and if you'll bring an added dish, and we'll just have food and fun, fellowship, and a membership drive. The other old business, Jerry and his pictures. You want to say a brief
Well,
something
like I
about the
say, I'm
pictures?
glad I didn't send us to the poorhouse, but altogether so far, I've ordered 204 pictures of Houston County. And I got them in this book right here. And I numbered them 1 to 200. Well, I got about 230 pictures in here, but I got other pictures in here. And like I say, there's a lot of pictures of Danville, and I have pictures of Mckinnon'S, Sturt, and Houston County. I have a list here. Each one coincides with what's on the list that I got from the National Archives. So if you're looking at a picture and you're not sure what it is, just find it on the list here, and the number will be right here on this side, and you can tell what it is. I think I've got the majority of the pictures. I know I got a couple more lists because I started going to their database and I typed in Houston County, but most of those pictures are later on. Most of these here are in the early 40s and late 30s. So, like I say, if you want to look through this book, it's up here. I got extra pictures that we're selling for 50 cents a piece in this black book here. And I got 8 by 10 for 10. And the only reason we're doing that is try to recoup some of the money that we put out for the pictures. But there's a lot of fascinating pictures if you know the Danville, Houston County, or McKinnon area. And there's even Stewart, picture of the lime kiln in Stewart. There's the building of the bridge, the washout of the bridge, and the tearing down the Danville. There's a lot of pictures of the grain elevator. And there's pictures of the railroad tracks that were there, of the road to Striblin, which is where the Grange Arnold place was up in Stewart County, which ran from Danville to Striblin, and then it connected with the bridge. And what fascinates me is how detailed these pictures are of the bridge that washed out. Now this is the tearing down of Danville. You can see the Outlaw Hotel here where they're tearing down the building. But this is what was left of the town when they were tearing it down. He moved his camera a little bit, and this is the left side of it. This is across the river over in Benton County. This is where they were logging all the lumber to build the bridge. This is inside the grain elevator. This is the cranes and everything that they had there in the area. This is the grain elevator before it was flooded. Let me show you one more picture and then I'll turn it back over. There's pictures of this is a sawmill. There's pictures of the barge. This is how they moved the bridge in. They floated it in because they didn't have the technology to raise that steel for the temporary trestle bridge. And like I say, they're all up here to be viewed. And if you notice, there's the barge turned up on its side after the flood, and then, which washed out the bridge. And then they tried to remove the barge by getting all the riffraff out from underneath it. And like I said, they're all here. You can look at them. The pictures in the black book are the ones we have for sale. If you see any in here, if you mark down the numbers, I can print them off for you and then provide you with a picture. And like I say, those are 50 cents a piece. Thank you.
Appreciate what you've done, Jerry. That's all I remember about the bridge, that
Yes.
new bridge that they
We're
elevated.
even finding it.
While I was living at Watts Bar Dam, Tennessee, that section of that Danville Bridge, the Bill section, some of the guys in my crew that I worked with came inside. We saw the darndest thing. A bridge went through the dam at Watts Bar on its way up to the Clinch River. And it had just come from Danville on its way from, as it was restructured.
Now, if you understood, Jerry has copies of some of these pictures, and some of them he does not, but he can order those for you as well.
But all these in this book, these are copies, so if you see any, you can just take them out of the slide or out of the holders, and just, like I say, they're 50 cents a piece. And there's a lot of pictures that we got from the National Archives. There's also additional pictures, like this picture right here. This is in 1943 when TVA and the University of Tennessee was excavating the Indian graves underneath the bridge before they flooded it. So that's what that picture is. But this is New Johnsonville. This is the old bridge at Danville. There was 3 different bridges at Danville. The first bridge was a turnstile bridge, and the second 2 bridges were draws. And like I say, you can go through these and just pick out which
I got a
one.
question. On the Indian mounds, what they got out of there, is that displayed somewhere in some museum or anything?
Now, I don't know this for sure by fact, but I was told that the University of Tennessee has a storage area for all Indian graves, because when they redid 149, they did the same thing. And I think they moved them there, unless they donated them back to a tribe,
Yeah.
and let the tribe rebury them. But I heard that the University of Tennessee has any
Okay.
relics.
So they're really not for display?
Well, I don't know if the University of Tennessee has a display on them. I know there's areas in the country that do.
Yeah.
but I don't know if the University of Tennessee does or
I'm
not.
not sure. I may have to research that.
Yeah, that's a good question though.
Is there any other old business you can think of we need to discuss? If not, we'll go on to the new business. The nominating committee has nominated officers for 2020. Jackie, if you'll let us know who those are.
We're nominating Deborah as president, Jerry as vice president, and Miss Betty as treasurer. Vanetta James has requested to take a break from being secretary. She's done such a wonderful job over several years, and we're so grateful to her. And Melissa Barker has agreed to let us put her in the secretary's position. And as a result, Vanetta will remain on the board. Jerry Fazell, Gary Hooker, Dan Osbrooks, Sid McMillan, Leah Baggett, and myself, we're board members. And that's our slate of officers.
Okay. Are there any other nominations from the floor?
I move they be closed, and we accept this late acclamation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martin. I'll approve that. Say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, we have our committee for 2020.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Vanetta had surgery last month, and I talked to her last night, and she's in a lot of pain, so she's the one that sends out the emails if you get them, or she sends out the letters for the minutes. If you get a minute, give her a call or send her an email and tell her,
I'll
we
remiss
wish-
her and thank her for her service.
yeah, tell her we hope she's feeling better and hope to see her in December.
Yes, we do.
Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
I read in the paper this morning, I don't know how many people are here, remember Tia Batterson, she has passed away, and it was in the paper this morning, but there wasn't an obituary. It just listed her name.
Now, she's the one that wrote the Danville book, wasn't she?
No, Tia Batterson she was treasurer for a long time, and I took her place when they moved to Clark.
Or did she have a lot to do with the Danville book? Because she ordered some extras from me, from her.
She had a lot to do with that first one that came
Oh, the
out.
first one,
And
okay.
then when we did reflections from the past, she
She was
helped on it.
instrumental in
Yeah.
that, yes, one of our members,
Mhm.
yes. Another ongoing new business, some of us, Jackie and Donald and I, are updating the cemeteries in Houston County. According to the cemetery book, there are 193 cemeteries. Some only have a name, and I don't know if you can even get to them. We may have to have some help from our road people to even find some of these cemeteries. We have less than 190 to go. So if you know of a cemetery on your property that is in the cemetery book, we're trying to get the latitude and longitude coordinates on these cemeteries, some of the directions. You couldn't find the cemetery from the directions that are in the book. So with the coordinates, it'll put you right at the cemetery, and we're updating those, and more information on that to come. And like I said, less than 190 to do. Tonight, our program is from Melissa Barker, but let me add one other thing right quick, it's on the bottom of my page. Stewart County has reprinted the history of Stewart County in pictures, reprinted. It's $20. It's available at the Stewart County Public Library. They're open Monday through Saturday at various times. The book is also available at the archives, and they're only open on Tuesday. But if you need that to be mailed to you, I think they will be forthcoming with an address, and you can get that mailed to you for $5. But I wish I had brought my book, because I don't know whether I have that one or not. So, and Christmas in the Park, December the 6th through January the 4th, organized by the Johnsonville TVA Credit Union. Come out to Betsy Ligon Park and stroll along the walking trail, taking in the festive light display created by your businesses and organizations, December the 6th through January 4th. Christmas in the Park.
It'll be similar to the, what they have in Clarksville along the river with the light displays. That's what they'll be, I believe there'll be over 30 of them.
Free hot chocolate and coffee served on these nights. So, December the 6th through January the 4th. You don't have to go to Clarksville to see the lights.
I don't have to go to Clarksville, rent a ham, I've got 40 to give away that night.
Oh my, you better go now. Okay, Melissa?
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Melissa Barker. I'm the Houston County Archivist, and I would like to welcome you all to our new space. You are in a new space for the archives. I've talked to you about it all year long with the updates that I've given when we have our meetings at City Hall, but this is the space. It's sad that he left, but I want to thank Mayor Bridges for giving us this room. When he came into office, we had other plans that were kind of in place, but he decided, and with my talking with me and some of the other members, that that was not going to work. Many of you may remember that this was David Harden's office, who was our fire chief, who passed away June, last year, June, I think it was. And so the fire department decided to take their office up to the Emergency Operations Center. So it left this room empty, and Mayor Bridges decided that the archives needed to expand. And so he gave us this room. The work that we've done in here has been, we've put in a drop ceiling and the LED lights, so we have very good lighting. I can tell you that all the other offices in the courthouse are very jealous of our lighting in here because they also have the original courthouse lights, which are kind of dim. So, and we also did painting in here. We cleaned the carpet, and we haven't replaced the carpet. I think it turned out pretty good. But we were able to put our displays out. We were able to take our map cabinets, which were stacked to the ceiling. I would get grant money, and I knew one day we would have space for them, so I would continue to buy map cabinets and just go up, up, up. But now they're down where we are starting to fill them up. Someone asked me earlier if I had a map of something, and we have maps. We haven't even been able to flatten and process all of them yet. We keep getting them donated, and we have a lot to fill all these cabinets. But there are some people I want to thank. First of all, Mayor Bridges was one. I also want to thank Donald and Jackie Bateman. They are just wonderful people. I can pick up the phone and call them, and they are here. They don't ask, what do you need? I don't know if you want to do that. They're here. I can always count on them. Kay French, she is another one. I can pick up the phone and call and say, I'm just the archivist. I just take care of the records. I don't know the history of this county. Can you please answer this question? Miss Betty's the same. I can answer her. I can ask her. Deborah Stanfield has been very supportive too of the archives and has helped me greatly. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank Leah Baggett. Leah Baggett is my right arm woman. She, since Miss Ann Sykes passed away in 2014, which I can't believe it's been that long ago, Leah has actually stepped up and started volunteering and being here. She helps me when I look at something and say, does this look right? Does this go here? And so I'm so grateful for have her here with us. So our footprint as far as what we have now is we have this room, which we are calling the research room. We still have the room across the hall. That's our records room, which when we start to eat, I'm going to open up the records room and open up the vault so you can see what we have. And we have the vault. It's the original vault that was built with the courthouse in 1956. I absolutely love this vault. Some of you have heard me say this before. When we got into the vault, we found that there was no evidence of rodents, no dead bugs. There was nothing in there. Very, very safe. And then, not the 2010 flood, but there was a weekend when it rained really, really hard, really, really fast. And the water came off the back of the courthouse and came into the elevator shaft, and it flooded a little bit down here. And I was scared to death. And when I got here and opened the vault, you could see where the water had gone underneath the vault door but stopped right in the middle. There's something about that vault door, the way it's built. And so I loved the vault. I wish we had a whole building built of that vault. So it will be open for you to go and see. We've done a lot of organizing and moving. We have room now for even more records, which I'll talk about in a minute. And so you can go into the vault if you're not claustrophobic. And you can walk around in there, which we haven't been able to do for some time. I can tell you that we've had a tremendous amount of visitors since we started this room. I don't know why, but the words got out that we have a very nice research room, and visitors are starting to come out of the woodwork. Our visitor count has probably tripled, if not more, since September of this past year, 2018. People are just coming just to see what we have on display, our records, and things like that. So that's been wonderful. We've had people come to do research on all different topics, on their family genealogy, on the Wells Creek Basin, and looking at maps, looking at cemeteries. And then again, it has also tripled. Having the new space and me constantly talking about the archives and getting people to come, which that's what we want. We want people to use our archives because it helps to bring in tourists, believe it or not. People come here from all across the United States. I used to have a sign-in book, but I haven't found a place to put the sign-in book again. But we would have people from all different kinds of states across the United States come here to do research because their ancestors were once here. I had a lady said that her ancestor was born here and they moved the next year. This was in the 1800s. She just wanted to come here to see where he was born. And so we're kind of bringing those people in too. Also, what I've noticed, which has been very, very wonderful for me, is this has been, and I hope it stays, the Historical Society home, a physical home for them. We meet at City Hall and we have our family of members, but I want this to be sort of a home for them too. There's been twice that we've had, since we've had this room, that all of a sudden one day, at least 4 or 5 members have showed up here. And we've commiserated, we've sat around, we've talked, we've pulled records, and it was 2 of the best days that I have enjoyed in the archives. So I hope that continues as well. Records donations and transfers. I could not list for you the amount of records donations that we've had since the last time we did this in November, because there's been so many. Now, we're not covered up with stuff because a lot of people will bring in a piece of paper or a document. Last month, for some reason, it was coins. I got a Dover pig iron coin that was in Carlisle. I got that. We got from Susan Knight Gore. If any of you know Susan Knight Gore, she's the archivist in Cordova for the Cumberland Presbyterian Church. She bought a Masonic penny from the Erin Masonic Lodge off of eBay. She's always buying stuff off of eBay and sending it to the archives. But we recently got that. So last month, I say, was the month of coins. And then if you'll turn around and look in the corner, we received a door. This door was found at an antique place in Dixon. There was some talk about whether or not, is it authentic, was it really on an Erin post office? And the person who would like to remain nameless purchased the door and donated it to the archives. About 2 or 3 weeks before he passed, Mr. Shumi Coakley came down to the archives, drove himself to the archives, came down to the archives, and when he walked in, his whole purpose was to come to see that door. He wanted to say whether or not that was the door. And he walked in and he says, yep, that's the door, since I haven't seen it since the 1940s. So that's all I needed, was Mr. Coakley to tell me that that was the door. So we're very, very proud to have it. And when I heard about the door, I thought, I know exactly where I'm going to put it. I already had a space for it. So we're so glad to be able to have brought that back home. Probably one of the most significant, it isn't really a records donation, it's more of a records transfer that we received in the last year. I've spoken about it a couple of times this past year at our meetings, and those are the school registers. The Board of Education was cleaning out there's an old classroom building, like a metal building behind the middle school, which used to be the high school. And there was about 20 filing cabinets in there when they showed it to me. There was holes in the floor, holes in the ceiling. It was raining that day, so rain was coming in. And when I pulled the drawers of those filing cabinets and looked what was in, there were these school registers. And the school registers were produced by the teachers themselves. This included the list of students, their attendance, their grades, and a tremendous amount of other kinds of information we've been able to glean out of these registers. They date back to the 1920s up to the 1980s. So far, we have not seen any high school registers. These are all elementary, up to what, 7th, 8th grade?
There was some 9th and 10th grade at Stewart,
Okay.
but that was it.
And
For
Lee is
a few
actually
years.
working on cataloging these so that when someone comes in, we can show them a catalog of the classes, the teachers. I'm not, what other information are you putting
It's
on
the
that?
school, the teacher, which grades the teacher taught, and the time frame of the school year.
Yeah, because it changed.
Because you could see it change to finally, and now I'm in the 50s, and every school is on the same schedule, because they had not been. And it's basically after Labor Day to, or August rather, to early May, August to May.
This transfer of records from the school board is on the heels of the records that were given to us when Pat Davis retired from the school system. She made sure that these extremely old records got to us. But the registers are a true treasure trove. For many of you that don't know, Houston County, not at one point, but over our history, have had about 60 schools in Houston County. Each of our little communities had a one-room schoolhouse. And we are really going to be able to document these schools with these registers and the other documents that we have. I can tell you from a genealogist standpoint, this is very unusual and very unique for us to have these records that survive, that someone didn't just throw them away. For family history, for our local history. We found one register where we found that they had made no notation. I don't remember when this was, in the 30s, I think it was.
So, yes.
That there was a notation where a student had passed away. They'd taken a day off because a student had passed away. Now I even looked and I went to see if I could find a death certificate for the student because I was curious as to what they passed away of. There was no death certificate. So if you know anything about genealogy research, without a vital record, it's difficult to prove things like that. But now we have the school register for whoever is researching this particular student. So there's all kinds of different things like that in these registers. So that's kind of our most significant records that we received. And also, we are constantly getting photographs, which we love. I am hoping that here in the archives, our photo collection will be the go-to photo collection for our county citizens and for anyone else. And so,
I said amen to
yeah,
that.
and he's helping. Right now, we have 13 boxes of photographs and counting. That's just the ones that I've been able to organize physically. Now I'm starting to digitize and organize digitally and get an index so that when someone comes in, I can show them the index and then they can see the photographs. We still have boxes and boxes and boxes we haven't gone through yet.
He has a question.
I'm sorry.
How big are the boxes?
They are, I don't have any here. Reams of paper.
I'm
File
sorry.
boxes, like the.
File boxes, like a,
Not that big.
yeah,
A banker box.
like a banker box. You know, a banker box is a 12 by 12
You say bigger box?
banker, yeah. So, you know, so photographs again this year have been fantastic. They come to us physically, people donate the actual photographs, which we love. But our digital collection is growing exponentially. We have people that send us a picture through Facebook, or they'll email it to us, or they'll come by and they'll say, well, I've got photos at home, we'll send them to you. So we take them any way we can get them. I actually sent a photograph to Miss Kay recently that I hope we can figure out, the Tennessee Ridge baptism that I sent to you.
Yes, and I talked to some of the ladies that go to that Tennessee Ridge Baptist Church, and they were gonna ask around. You know, it stands to reason, it was the Baptist church. The only other one at the Ridge at that time would have been the Lutheran.
And this was what, 19 teens, was that
Mhm.
picture? 19 teens, and it's just a picture of them baptizing, and there's people standing around, and it's in Tennessee Ridge, and all you see is this little bit of body of water and these people, so, and that's all it says. We don't have any names. So, the next thing I want to tell you about is, again this year, we actually are celebrating our 9th years in archives as of November 15th. November 15th is when a friend of the archives, Mr. Randall French, proposed that we establish an archive in Houston County. That was in November 15, 2010, through the legislative body. And since then, we've been going strong. So we'll be celebrating 9 years. Each and every year, we apply for grant money through the state of Tennessee, and each and every year, we have received grant money. I do the grant application. It's a very competitive grant process, meaning those that need it worst, that are deemed to need it worst, it goes to them. You can add, like this year, it was, most was $5,000, and so they'll divvy it out, whatever they have. We have brought in over $50,000 in our 9 years of grant money, and that is purchasing archival file folders, boxes, shelvings. It's purchased the mat cabinets, which are extremely expensive. They're about $2,000 a piece. Every 5 drawers is $2,000. They're very expensive. But this year, we also received grant money, $2,700 worth. And we're kind of excited about this particular grant money because this is what's going to start us on our digitization projects of our records. When you propose your project, and this particular grant is to archive government records, and we're going to digitize the county court, or also called legislative body meeting minutes. Now, they're on microfilm to a certain point, but we're going to digitize them so that the county mayor's office, the county commissioners, or whomever is looking for information in an old minute book can find it easily. Right now, poor Robert Brown has to search and search and search because they're not cataloged and they're not indexed. So we're going to do that. We're going to be purchasing a camera that's going to go with this particular piece of equipment. This is an LED copy stand. This is what they use in the National Archives to do digitization. Someone who is a fan of our archives who lives in Utah purchased this stand and sent it to us. The stand is over $400. And so Lee and I one day put it together. It's like an octopus. It's got things going everywhere. But you put a camera on it, and then you can lay your books down here, and you can do your digitization. So that's what we're hoping. That's what we're going to purchase, is a camera. We're also going to be purchasing, and Donna will love this, we're going to be purchasing an oversized flatbed scanner. The one we're hopefully going to get is going to be able to scan up to 11 by 17. So that is significant. We should hopefully be able to scan some of our maps, our blueprints, and some of our larger items as well. And then we're also going to get, of course, an external hard drive, a large capacity external hard drive, so that what we digitize does not get lost. So that's what we're going to do with our grant money. And we're going to start putting, once we start doing the digitization, we're going to start putting some of our records and things online. There is a place where archives across the United States upload their digitized records to, it's called Internet Archive, and it's free, and it's very secure, but it's a place where people across the United States can see what we have, and maybe that will bring them here to visit, or at least contact us, and get some of our records and use them for their research. So we're excited about that. One of the things I wanted to give everybody, because I could not do any kind of presentation or give you an update without begging for records. I would like to thank Miss Liz Buttermore and the Houston County Herald. They allowed me to, if y'all noticed the newspaper, this was in the newspaper about a week, last week? Was it last week? Yeah. This is an advertisement for Archives Month, which was October. And it says, Houston County Archives wants your stuff. I have people all the time tell me, I have some stuff to bring you, and then I never see them. So I've been threatening to get a U-Haul and just kind of go to everybody's house and just pick it up. And so those of you in this audience, I'm not going to look at anybody, that has told me you have stuff, you can bring it anytime. But I want everyone to have one of these flyers. It lists just examples of what we will take. Our history is extremely important. Bob McKinnon knew that. And I am not a Bob McKinnon in any way, shape, or form, but I hope that I make him proud by trying to preserve our history. And the only way to do that is to get it donated, get it out of the attics, get it out of the basements and the closets. and get it preserved so that everyone can enjoy our history, so that we can tell our history. I'm running across stuff that nobody knows about, nobody's heard anything about. And so it's difficult to research it or to figure out what it is when a lot of us have never seen it. So I'm going to pass around one of these flyers in a minute. But the last thing I'm going to do, Leah and I want to do something very special for Betty and for the McKinnon family on this wonderful special night. And what do you do for a family who their father and their husband has every document, I think, about Houston County probably. We thought about it, Leah and I got together, and I think we actually found something that you don't have.
Well, I would like to have it because Melinda is taking all of his books. And she's scanning them, and when she gets through with them.
I give them back.
So when she gets through with all 30-something volumes of stuff that he has, this is where it will come, but she's scanning it for us.
Wonderful, wonderful, thank you so much. What we did for you is, I'm excited, I got goosebumps. I'm sorry, I got goosebumps. Okay, Leah and I went through the school registers. We figure you probably have his report cards. We went through the school registers, and we made you a nice book of the school registers with Mr. Bobby McKinnon listed. Now, this is not, this doesn't go to 12 because we only have registers that go, this is from grades 1 through 7. And so it has the front of the register, which has his teacher. And then inside it has him, gives his birth date, and it gives us his parents and his parents' occupation. And that's for grades 1 through 7. So I'm hoping you don't have these.
No, we don't. Let me take them back. And he had his mother in the 2nd grade, which now they don't do that, but his mother taught him in the 2nd grade the tale he tells the first day he went to school he got a spanking. He said I deserved it because I was going to see what I could get by with, and I couldn't get by with anything. But this is really, really nice. Thank you.
We racked our brains trying to figure out what could we do. We don't already have.
That was nice. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. So and that's all I have. It's getting late, and so we'll need to eat before it gets too late for some of us. But please do. You know, I say it every time, please bring your stuff to the archives. We would love to have it. You know, I understand you want to hang on to your stuff, but when you go, if your children and grandchildren don't want it, I hope it doesn't get thrown away. So,
May I say this?
You go right
I was
ahead.
looking at this where it says Bobby McKinnon, birthday, February the 4th. Let me tell you a story about that. His mother applied for a birth certificate, couldn't get one. So I said, I didn't know. I applied for one, and I got it. His birthday's February 5th. So we said something to her about it. She said, well, I went to the hospital on the 4th, and it was late at night. I knew that. But I said, this was in 1927. She said, well, I just thought it was the 4th. That was the day I went to the hospital. But he was born shortly after midnight on the 5th of February. So for a long time, we celebrated both the 4th and the 5th.
I grew up thinking Dad's birthday was February 4th and 5th.
And
I never knew.
The 5th until when?
Oh, the guy was, he'd been in the Navy and out, and your kids, we were living in Little Rock when I did that. And the twins were born there, so it was a long time ago.
Thank you, Melissa.
We invite you to come for our finger foods and drinks, and hope you've had a good experience here, and that you'll come back and join the society, or just come back and visit. And we thank you for being here, and enjoy the food, and hope to see you in December. Thank you.